morning.
Good morning. Welcome back to True Mind Talks.
Here we are to talk about stuff related to mental health and psychology, wellness, promoting your best self, helping your kid become the best self they can be.
Yes, love that. So we've decided to do another mini series on psychosocial development.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is really helpful. It's something that I think a lot of parents don't know unless you happen to have taken a psychology course at some time in your life, or done a little research on your own. I think people are more familiar maybe with like the developmental milestones, just because when you're going to the pediatrician, when your child's like, newborn, 1 year old, they're asking, like, are they crawling? Are they walking? Are they talking? Those sorts of things. But we're going to talk more along the lines of emotional development that
Yes.
it happens in the context of relationships. And so that's why it's called psychosocial, psychological development, right? That occurs within a social context, right? And this is Erik Erikson is responsible for developing this this model of development.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Well
today we're
said.
going to focus on ages 6 to 12, the school age years.
Yeah. Fun fact, Erikson was taught under Sigmund Freud's daughter Anne, and
Nice.
he was adopted by his pediatrician
Oh,
because
neat. That is a fun fact. I had no idea.
yeah, he his dad wasn't in the picture and he was aware of that and he got adopted by his pediatrician whom his mom married.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yep. Came to America and he studied his own children and observed and come up with these stages. And because he didn't have a bond with his biological father, they think that that's what made him understand developmental crises. Because who am I?
Mhm.
Where did I come from? That kind of thing, which I think that's a fun fact.
Yeah, it is. Thanks for sharing that. And I think that his developmental stages just go so well with attachment, don't they?
Oh, so true. So true. Yeah. But yeah, can you tell us more about that, Rachel?
Yeah, because they're in the context of relationships, and when you feel safe in those relationships, you have the
Mm-hmm.
positive outcome, which today we're going to talk about industry versus inferiority. That's the challenge that we're dealing with from ages 6 to 12. So industry is the positive outcome. We're either going to end up feeling confident in ourselves and capable of doing things. And that
Mm-hmm.
happens when you have positive, safe relationships with adults in your life and mentors, people like teachers, coaches, extended family, obviously caregivers as well. Or the negative outcome, inferiority. We're going to feel a lot of self doubt. We're going to feel incapable. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
feel like we'll never be successful. That is the negative outcome. And that I would say that typically happens if we don't feel completely safe in relationships.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is right after maybe kindergarten, or you're entering kindergarten through fifth, fourth grade.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how much you can remember about that time, Rachel. I just remember feeling kind of like, who's my who's my pod? Who's my people? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here. Who do I hang out with? Who likes me? Who doesn't like me? All those things. As a
Yeah.
kid, you're like, is my hair okay?
Where do I fit in? Where do I belong?
Mm-hmm.
And this obviously gets a lot stronger, that kind of like sense of belonging in the next phase where you move into middle school, and that gets really hard, and we'll talk about that next time. But this is your first introduction to a lot of new concepts, both
Yeah.
academically and socially. You're being introduced to a lot of different beliefs, values, dynamics that your peers are bringing into the picture from their homes and families and cultures.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up culture. Yes, they may have a different beliefs, different views. And when I was a kid, we would celebrate um, the Easter, the Halloween, and my friend, he would leave the classroom because he was belonged to the Kingdom Hall, and they did not practice those holidays. And that was my one of my first introductions that people do believe different than you.
Mm-hmm.
They do.
They do. Yeah.
And that's a concept that's really taught when you're being in these dynamic, diverse environments. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, they like toast and I like pancakes.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we want to mainly focusing on this content, creating this episode for caregivers to
Yes.
understand this stage of development and what are some ways that you as a caregiver can help to foster that sense of industry if your child is
Yes.
like 6 to 12,
Yeah.
or you work with children age 6 to 12. How can we foster and help them develop self-confidence, self-esteem, sense of pride in themselves, right? And
Mm-hmm.
how can we avoid unintentionally fostering that low self-esteem, self-doubt, right? Like feelings of unworthiness. We want to try to avoid that.
Yeah. And this is impactful because if the kid's in the classroom and there's a question asked and the teacher's like, hey, who knows the answer? And you don't know the answer and your so and so knows the answer. You answered incorrectly, you'll start to feel shame and you'll hover down because you'll feel like, well, I'm not competent. So these, interactions at school impact how they feel, if they feel inferior or not. And
Right.
so, as the parent, when they come home, what happened at school today? What did you learn? Yeah, well, I got lots of questions wrong too growing up. Sometimes you want to validate that it's okay. You're not going to get everything right. And that doesn't mean that you're not smart. You're smart in this way. And you're so good at building things. I did this with Graham. So good with Legos. He
Mm,
can build any Lego set, still can. I'm like, Mom can't do it. But you're so good at it. So you want to
yeah.
focus on your kids' positive traits, their talents, their gifts, because
Yeah.
they won't always get positive reinforcement in school at this age because they're just learning new concepts. We learned cursive writing. I don't know if they started teaching that. That was hard.
I don't think they teach it anymore, but I learned it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was hard.
Hmm.
Holding your hand a
Yeah.
certain way. Yeah.
Yeah. But what you're saying is so important. It's like cherish and delight in your children's interests and their skills, what they're good at, because that's what their developmental focus is on. They're not aware of it at the time, but they're learning what am I good at in
Yes.
comparison to my peers,
Yes.
which is kind of a contradiction because when we're older and we're adults, we think, oh, I shouldn't compare myself to other people. But this is naturally happening at
Mm-hmm.
this stage, right? Am I good
Mm-hmm.
academically? Am I good at playing an instrument? Am I good at a sport? Am I good at art? Like in comparison to my peers, where do I stand?
Yes. Yes, that's so good. Yeah. And they're gonna do that. They're gonna compare themselves to their friends. So if they get their test back on the spelling, because you have spelling at this age, and your friend doesn't miss one, she gets 100%, and you look at yours, you miss two and you get a B. well, then you might start feeling some kind of way about yourself just because you're comparing.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
they're absolutely going to feel some type of way because it's important for us to note they are not yet capable of
Mm-mm.
separating their worth from skill and achievement.
Thank you.
Those are one and the same at this age.
Mm, worth and skill. Yes. Yes. That's true.
If
Mm-hmm.
I'm good at something, if I feel competent, that means I'm worthy and valuable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is how just self esteem begins. Now, of course, as they leave this stage and enter the next one, right, and move on into adulthood, then they'll have the ability, the capacity to understand my worth and value is more than just my skill, but this is just like the foundation.
Yeah, exactly. That is so true. Mm-hmm. Says the parent, you're checking in with your kid, like, hey, what did you do well in today? Well, I helped my friend on the playground when he fell down. That's so kind of you. Thank you for being helpful because you want to nurture the positive traits. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if most parents are critical nowadays. When I was a kid, they're just hypercritical. Like, why did you do that? What's wrong with you? Suck it
Mm.
up. Just all this
And that would
negative.
be what we want to avoid, right? That would be what
Please
we
don't
want
do that.
to
Because they're okay, so the brain, Miss Rachel, I did the chat GBT lookup and I found that what's happening there, the frontal lobe's not developed completely yet, of course,
right.
but there's a lot of pruning happening. So they're, the neurons are and synapses are pruning and they're building the wiring in the brain, and the kid is developing new skills and they're letting go of other things that they don't need to remember.
Yes.
And having a lot of negativity when you go to school, and if you get it back at home, going back to attachment
Mm-hmm.
creates a sense of insecure attachment. I
Yeah.
don't belong here, and I don't quite belong here, and I'm not good enough.
Yeah. If we're
We don't want that.
internally, if we think of it this way, from 6 to 12, the
Hmm.
internal mindset, the number one question is, am I good enough or am I not good enough?
Thank you.
For that
Yes.
6 years, we're just trying to figure that out. Where do
Yeah.
I fit in the world? Do I fit in the good enough category or the not good enough category?
Mm.
And every interaction we have is telling
Yes.
us. It's like a vote. Oh, I'm in this category right now. Oh, I'm in this category. If more votes are going in the not good enough, that's what we're
Hmm.
going to believe. And so if we're constantly being spoken to in a critical or demeaning or like negatively constructive feedback kind of
Hmm.
way, man, that's a lot of votes in not good enough.
Yeah. It's
If
like
we're
you gotta be.
constantly being
Yeah.
compared in a negative way by adults, why can't you be more like so and so? Well, so and so can do it. Why can't you?
Hmm.
That's votes in the not good enough.
Yeah. Whew. See, Rachel and I, when we got on here, we said we didn't realize how significant this stage is. I used to think teenage stage. Now I'm thinking it's 6 to
I know.
12.
I think this is where a lot of people get
Mm-hmm.
stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Low self-esteem breeds depression and anxiety, I think. I think when you don't feel good enough, you walk around comparing yourself as an adult, and that feeling of inadequacy can just bleed into all areas of your life. Like,
100%.
can I be a good counselor? Am I a good professor? Am I a good sister? You're sitting
Hmm.
there questioning constantly, creating this angst.
Yeah. Am I good at anything? Yeah.
And this is where imposter syndrome can kind of steep in. I think I read
Mm,
that somewhere.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I think this is becoming more popular the more research folks do,
Yeah.
but growth mindset versus fixed mindset, I think we've talked about that in a past podcast, at least touched on it.
Remind me.
I think it starts here. Growth mindset is even if something is hard, even if I'm not good at it right away,
Mm-hmm.
I I can try my best and I can learn and I can become better at
Yeah.
things through effort, right? Growth mindset.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fixed mindset is if I'm not great at it right away, why bother? I might as well do something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people feel that way. I
That's
have so
true.
many clients say, if I don't think I'll be really great at it, I won't even try. And these are like very intelligent, skilled, successful people.
Of course they are. Of course. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like one of my friends at the gym's not gonna run because he's not as fast as he was 5 years ago. And I'm like, let's run anyway. Let's just get I have to be first. Let's just run.
Yeah. So
Who cares?
the point in me sharing all this right now is as a caregiver, the
Yes.
age 6 to 12, encourage and praise effort, not just outcome.
Yes.
You tried so hard. I'm
Mm.
so proud of you for trying.
Mm-hmm. Grant would bring home a C plus on a hard thing. Did you do your best? Yes, mom. Good job.
Yes.
Not I know people they think I'm so positive. They're like, you're just always positive towards your kids. And I'm like, absolutely. I what good does it do to focus on what they're not doing? Now I'd like them to do more things, of course, but that doesn't breed competence. That doesn't
Right.
foster, like Rachel's saying, growth. That stifles him. He gets stuck. I don't want to stifle my kid at this age with a lot of negative energy and feedback.
Right. Right. So instead of I know you're capable of better, right? Because that would be a vote in the oh, I'm not good enough.
Yep.
Man, you tried so hard. I'm so proud of you. What
Yes.
would you like to do different next time?
Yeah.
Let's talk about this.
Mhm. That's not gentle parenting. I know gentle parenting's got this big stigma about it. It's positive, focusing on your kids' positive traits, their good attributes, their awesome skills. That's what you focus on. That's not gentle parenting. That's focusing on their gifts. People don't want to focus on people's positives enough.
Well, you've always said there needs to be like a certain amount of positive for every negative for it to
5 to 1. That's
five
gotten
positive
stuff. Yeah.
interactions for every singular negative interaction.
Think of that. How many times that you say something positive to your partner, to your kids, it's significant.
Mm-hmm.
Even just saying thank you, you did a good job taking out the trash. What harm is that going to do to you to say that? It don't hurt nobody.
Reinforcing the behavior that you want, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, great. You picked up your room. You're so clean. Thanks, Mom. Guess what? He makes up his bed. Wow. At 21. Yay! Sometimes you don't
Right.
get to your bed if you're in a rush in the morning. It's just
Sure.
focusing on what people do right, what your kid is doing right. Oh, that coloring is, if it's not out of the lines, that coloring is so beautiful. The colors you chose were spontaneous. Use language that invites them to grow and blossom.
Mm-hmm.
I love positive feedback. Can you tell?
I can tell. Yeah.
I did that
Yeah.
all the time with kids.
It's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even the boys with the group home, just focusing in on, one of them, he's got good manners and he's real polite. And I focus on that. He's just so polite and if he has to burp, he covers his mouth. It's really good
No.
manners. Guess what? The other kids start doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Voila.
Mm-hmm.
I'm focusing on their positive traits.
They taught me that when I was in school. I was originally a school counselor for folks that don't know, and they're teaching us classroom management skills. They said, don't, always be pointing at the kid doing it wrong, saying, don't do that. Find someone that is doing what you want and praise it and watch how all the other students start to do what's being praised. And it's true.
So
I've
true.
witnessed it happen.
It's a domino
Little
effect.
Johnny, I love that you're just sitting there with your feet on the floor, quiet and ready to work. Oh, everybody else notices.
I love how you read those questions. You asked a good question about, you know, choices and drugs. That was a good job. I'm really proud of you for asking such an innovative question. And then all the other kids, well, I want to read next time. So like, sure you do. Of course.
Yeah,
That's reinforcing positive social behavior at this stage in life breeds, you said it earlier,
confidence.
self-confidence,
Yeah,
confidence. Yeah. And
self-esteem, all of that.
how important is self-esteem? And how important is it to feel like I matter in the world? What Rachel and I are doing as counselors is so important, so helpful.
Yeah.
Us knowing and believing that about ourselves, that's what makes you go to work.
Yes, which is another skill being learned at this age.
Yeah.
Work ethic, self-discipline, right? And so, you mentioned before, use language. The
Mm.
words you use are so important. If you start to label your child lazy, unmotivated, uh, clumsy, ditzy, whatever it may, that's going to stick with them. Like they're going to absorb that label
Yep.
and carry that the rest of their life.
Words matter. Yeah.
Yeah. As a caregiver, please be aware of the words you're using to describe yourself, even if you never
Thank
point at,
you.
even if you never look at your child and say it about them, they are listening to the way you talk about yourself. If you are constantly speaking negatively about your own appearance, your own
Yep.
like character flaws that you see in yourself, like that is the voice that your child will use to describe themselves when they are your age.
Man, Rachel, I'm so glad you said that. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, especially girls hearing their mom like talk about their image or say that they're, not slim enough. This can feed into eating disorders and body dysphoria. Just you have to be so mindful that their little ears are listening. How does my mom feel about herself?
Yeah.
My mom like herself? And if your mom don't is just tearing herself down all day, she's destroying her own image in front of you, what happens to your little brain? I must, oh, I'm not the right size.
Am I good enough or am I not good enough? My
Yes.
mom says this isn't good enough.
And you think she's the most beautiful creature you ever saw. You
Mm-hmm.
do. So you're just like, yeah, yeah, what's going on? Yeah.
Yeah.
Fortunately,
And
my parents thought they were hot. They did have that going for them.
okay, they have the confidence.
They were both very beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like this is an important segue into social media. And
Thank
like
you. Thank you.
I didn't grow up with social media.
Sure.
Thank goodness. I did not have that additional comparison and stress in my life, but the reality is kids do today.
They
So
do. They do.
limited social media, especially during this age, 6 to 12. I don't think you
Please.
need to be on it at all.
please don't let your kids get on social media between 6 and 12, actually 6 to 18.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
So
think
long and as
like
long as you
Grant,
can.
yeah, I think Grant was on it around 14. He wasn't on it that much, but he don't like social media.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
great.
It's
Yeah.
really all social media is like this is good enough, this isn't.
Yeah. And we all know we
That's the
can put the
dangerous content.
filters. Talk about those filters, honey. I'll put a filter on that. You know, bad
Yeah,
hair day filter. You
yeah.
know.
But I see so many like videos that are like, don't do this, do this. And it's just people creating content. They're not trying to like, ruin anyone's self-esteem. They're just trying to make money. They're an influencer, it's what they're doing.
Yeah.
But it's at an impressionable age, 6 to 12, where you're trying to figure out whether you good enough or not. Like that's damaging to your psyche.
Yeah, because the pruning's happening. So if you're intaking that through the eyeballs, the brain's saying you need to look like this, not like this.
Yep.
And then
You need
that,
to act like this, not like this. You need to like this thing and not like this thing. And we're trying to form a strong sense of self,
yes.
right? Confidence. Who am I? What am I good at? Right? So that
Mhm.
we can live authentically. This is the foundation of an authentic, self led life,
Mhm.
right? And is easily destroyed by the influence of others.
Yeah. So Rachel would say, don't let your kids on social media, right?
I would, yeah.
Yeah. And we don't give direct advice in therapy, but on our podcast, we take the liberty to tell you our opinions. So these are our opinions
Well,
from us.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you are, just know that, like, it is impacting their self esteem.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it could be for
Mhm.
worse,
Mhm.
which can cause anxiety, fear of not being good enough.
Yeah,
So that is so important. So, as clinical mental health therapists who studied this stuff, we would highly discourage social media for your children on
you
all
would.
accounts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, if I don't feel like I'm good enough, I don't have good self esteem, I am much more likely to develop anxiety. And if that anxiety goes untreated, I am much more likely to develop depression. And
Thank
if that
you.
depression goes untreated, I am much more likely to harm myself.
Yes, ma'am. That's how it
So
feeds into,
it's dangerous. Yeah.
mhm, poor mental
That's
health.
how important self esteem is.
Yeah. Yeah. If I don't even feel like I'm worthy to be in the ring, like Brene Brown says, then I'm not going to get in the ring. I'm going to stand on the sidelines and be sad and depressed because I don't feel like I'm worthy to even try.
Mhm.
If
Yeah.
I've been given that feedback, either through social media, from my peers, or from my parents.
Yeah. If I
Social
don't have
psychology.
any sense of confidence or self esteem, how am I ever going to accept any feedback,
Mm-mm,
constructive criticism?
mm-mm.
Like that's important. We need to be able to do that to have a job someday, and to have healthy adult relationships where someone expects you to be accountable for your behavior.
Yeah. Yeah. And you won't take it as a slight when someone says, "Hey, Linda, could you like complete this task? It was unfinished." I wouldn't perceive that as I'm such a terrible person. I'm unworthy of this job. I might as well quit. I could go into that negative self-talk if I have low self-esteem, low self-worth. Or I could be like, oh, I did miss that. Thank you for telling me. I'm still a great employee. Let me finish that task. You're
Yep.
right. I didn't get it right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm human.
I'm human. I dropped the ball. Sometimes people drop the ball. Yeah. It
Yeah.
doesn't make me any less worthy than, yeah. If you've got that self-confidence foundation, right? I'm good enough even when I mess up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that helps.
Strong sense of self is also what in internal family therapy systems, Schwartz says, if I don't have a strong sense of self, then I can't be self-led. I'm going to be led by, you know, the protectors and the firefighters in my life inside of me. So it could lead to self-destruction if I don't
Hmm.
ever gain some control over my parts that feel inadequate.
Right.
Yeah. So I love that
Yeah.
theory.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
would help that part.
Yes. So as caregivers, we're praising effort, not just achievement. We're showing patience as they're learning new skills.
Yeah.
We're delighting and cherishing in their unique special interests, what
Mm.
they like and what they feel good at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. When you kick that soccer ball, Grant, and it hits that net, I'm just thrilled at your ability to move your body that way. Just use language that builds confidence.
Yeah. We're
Mm-hmm.
providing structure and routine that feels very safe and predictable.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't mention that one, but that's a big deal.
Yeah, that's true. And then when I hear others validate them, the coaches giving them positive feedback, that builds the self-worth. And then they're getting a good sense of self and belonging. And we all need to feel like we belong.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're helping by working with them on homework, not just doing it for them.
Please don't do your kids' homework. Don't do it.
And help them work through problems that they encounter, right? As
Mm-hmm.
like a team effort by
Yeah.
letting them, like, what do you think we should do about this? Right? Kind of help them get, not just like snow plow and clear the path and like make sure they never experience a negative consequence. They never get in trouble. Like, that's,
Yeah.
we need to be experiencing consequences. We need to
Mm-hmm.
be learning how to problem solve,
Yeah.
learning how to work as part of a team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because in most work settings, you're going to have to, manage your feelings about others while working with them collaboratively. Yeah.
But also, I think it happens unintentionally. Parent has nothing but the best intentions when they're like, I'll just do it for you, right? It's because they know it's going to take longer if they
Mhm.
let the kid help out. Maybe they don't have the time, right? Whatever it may be. But what happens unintentionally is your child is learning they're not capable. I'm incompetent. Thus, my parent has to do it for me.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. If I take the task away, how do I build the synapses in the brain of, oh, I did a little bit of that and I'm building onto that? Yeah. If the
Yeah.
parent takes it away, they don't build that in their brain. Yeah. Is that
Yeah.
accurate?
It is accurate. But also,
Yeah.
am I good enough or am I not good enough? That's what your child's always asking themselves.
Yeah.
And if
Mhm.
you're like, here, just let me do it, I wasn't good enough to do that.
Then self-esteem shut down.
Yeah. I'm not smart enough to do that. I'm not competent enough to do that. I'm not skilled enough to do that. Fill in the blank.
hmm The great news is I didn't understand any of Grant's math homework. So you had to
I
get
know
it
I won't either. I'll have to hire a tutor. Have
Yes,
tutors
I
here.
did.
Yeah, I'll have to.
He had great tutors. The Coons helped him. They were super,
Oh,
So that's, but that built his confidence because they were able to give him feedback around how to work a problem. I didn't know how to do any of that stuff. I forgot all algebra. Forgot it all.
That's
So
pruning. Use it or lose it.
I don't use it. So
I
yeah.
don't use it. Yeah.
So I hope this podcast, this series we're doing on human development, your child's stages, is helpful to the parent, caregivers, teachers, grandparents, helpers. Yeah. So what we want to leave our listeners with, Rachel, as far as like how to manage and assert and give your kid positive feedback in this stage.
Yeah, I would say you have what it takes. You love your child. You're
Mhm.
already doing a great job. You're doing your
Yes.
best. If you've learned anything from this, I hope that it is praise effort, not
Mhm.
just achievement, right? And give your children opportunities to feel successful. They
Mm-hmm.
need that.
Yeah, they do. And so do adults. So yeah. And
Yeah.
we'll go into the next stage in our next podcast. If you have ideas or you have something you want us to tackle in our podcast, please just, you can go on the website and leave us a message in our website, or you can social media me on True Vine Counseling. So we'd love to give you all what you all want to hear. So thank you for
Yeah.
joining us.
Until next time, everybody take care. Bye.
Bye.